All right. I'll be Captain Buzzkill today.
Oh?
Yeah, dude. I'm not going to be suckered in again. I refuse, bro. You're not going to catch. Really nice win for the Kings last night. 120-113 over the Cavs. They played great. Awesome. Love to see it. Zach LaVine was great. DeMar DeRozan was awesome. Domantas Sabonis dominated. Love to see it. I'm not moved. I know they can do that. Nothing happened last night that I'm like, oh, wow, they do have that in their bag. No, we know. Like, cool, man. Call me in 2 weeks if they're still doing this.
Yeah.
And again, I know that we're supposed to be going game by game, and hey, if they win, great. Like, and that is, you need to win. And now they're in the 9 seed. They would host that play-in game. That gives you a better chance to win that play-in game. It looks like it's going to be the Mavs because the Suns have finally started checking all the way out. But I watched last night, and I almost get annoyed because where was this against Washington? I couldn't get a little bit of this against Washington.
No.
Where was this in all these other games? We were like, gotta win tonight, and then they lose 5 in a row. Ugh.
They are because people like on social media, the chatty house, you are a thief of joy. They sent you a Michael Scott
no, that's
gift
fine.
saying you're a thief.
Sure.
No, the Kings are the thief of joy.
Thank you.
They are the thieves of joy. Like, it's not, we're just telling you how it plays out. Like, it's very frustrating to watch this team.
It is.
And they make no sense about 87% of the time. You don't know if they're going to win or lose any game. There was some confidence going into yesterday, like, they'll probably win this game because they shouldn't.
Mm-hmm.
That was one of the best teams of basketball.
Yep.
And for whatever reason, the Sacramento Kings have their number.
Swept them. Played great twice against them.
Yeah, just totally bizarre. And the weird part is they played really well against him twice in odd points in the schedule where they weren't playing all that well.
Yes.
So it doesn't make any sense. There's no rhyme or reason to this Kings team. But I will say, like, we're getting towards the end of the season here where it's possible like one of these teams may bench a couple of guys against the Kings and give them another shot. Mm-hmm. Although, like, the way that the schedule is, the way that the standings are right now with so many teams tied or real close to each other, maybe not. Maybe the Kings are going to have to play it out here. Maybe they're going to have to give everything they've got against Denver and everything they have against the Clippers. Sure. It's very possible.
Sure. Yeah, the West is insane right now. There are the 3 through 8 seeds, I believe, are separated by a game.
Yeah, that's wild.
So Denver, I don't think you're getting anything less than Denver's best shot. I don't think you're getting anything less than the Clippers' best shot. You don't have Golden State or Minnesota or Memphis, but yeah, man, maybe the Suns will be out of it by the last game of the year, and so maybe that one will be. Yeah, maybe they'll sit guys in that one, but
maybe the Kings will too.
Yeah, I don't know, man. It's just you watch Zach LaVine go for 37, and he hit so many big threes last night. Every big three they needed, Zach LaVine cashed it. Mm-hmm. You see Domas and them running the ball through Domas late in the game, getting the ball in the low post late, got a bucket. Awesome, amazing. Yes. Love to see it. See DeMar working within the flow of the offense. He still took 18 shots, but it never felt like the 4-minute stretch where nobody else is going to touch the basketball. And you watch this and you go, see, this is why nobody can fully punt. We're down on this team for sure.
Yeah.
And I think fans are in general kind of like, yeah, let's get this season over with. But at the same time, you can't fully punt because the Kings are capable of playing in Charlotte. They took care of business. It took them 7 or 8 minutes to get rolling, but once they did, they just kind of put the screws to a bad team and kicked the hell out of them. Mm-hmm. And then they go on the 5th game of a 6-game road trip into Cleveland. You knock off Cleveland for the 2nd time, and it's like, yeah, man, if you told me they played this well and beat the Mavs in a play-in game and then beat whichever one of the 9 teams could be the 7 or 8 seed.
Probably Memphis, but go ahead.
Sure. Memphis, Minnesota, Denver's there. If I believe the Clippers, Warriors, Grizzlies, and Timberwolves all play tonight.
Ooh.
And Denver is idle. If all 4 of those teams win, Denver drops to the 8 seed.
Wow.
Isn't that insane?
Does Denver Denver just doesn't have tiebreakers or what? Or they'll drop into a tie
Yes,
for the
that
8.
would knock them down to
Okay.
the 8. So this is if you told me that the Kings beat any one of those teams in a 1-game play-in and were the 8 seed, like, sure, man, yeah, that could happen.
Mm-hmm.
My concern is like I want to see them win as many games as they can down the stretch. I'd love to see them get hot for 2 weeks here and make a little noise. That would be super fun. That'd be more fun for you guys, the listeners who are Kings fans. That'd be more fun for us who get on the radio and talk about it and write about it at thekingsbeat.com. My deepest concern here is they show just enough life to these wholesale changes we're talking about in the offseason.
No.
I'm afraid they're going to show just enough life to go, maybe they did start to figure it out. And I don't think they are. I think what happened last night was the planets aligned and the Kings played an awesome basketball game. I don't believe the Kings are capable of doing that for 2 or 3 or 4 consecutive weeks, and certainly an 82-game season.
No, this current iteration of the Kings, I do not believe they can do that. I mean, what we watched was a game where, again, I thought Domantas Sabonis was he set the table so early in the game, 15 points in the first quarter, just bullied Jared Allen all over the court. And Jared Allen is an exceptional defender.
Really good player.
Just destroyed him.
It was so bad.
Just made him look bad. And then they tried other things on Sabonis, and none of it worked. He was just absolutely dominant. But what he did is he set the physicality for the game. He's like, this is the level we're playing at today. I hope you're all here for it because this is what we're playing at. And then it's almost like everybody fell into place. And I thought DeMar DeRozan was exceptional. I don't think that he forced a bunch of shots. The shots that he did take, a lot of them were out of necessity late. There were some moments where he tried to dribble into like Evan Mobley, like a 6'11", 7'5", yeah. And was either going to get blocked or whatever, and gave the ball up late, and we, had the scramble drill and all that stuff. But overall, I thought he was exceptional. I thought that Zach LaVine was just, man, when he's rolling, you're just like, why is that? Why do we get that every 5th game? Like, I don't understand. Like, why, if you have that kind of talent, yes. I mean, when he pulls up for a 3, and he's not even getting that much separation, it's just like a little sidestep, not even super fast sidestep, pulls up, boom.
Cash.
Nothing but net.
Cash.
So when you're getting that version of the Kings, you do look at them and go, okay, maybe there are some teams you can beat out there, especially if you can get, Keegan Murray back on the court after missing last night's game. But realistically, the other players to figure out their roles. Keon Ellis is quietly figuring out his role. Malik Monk is, I don't even know what's happening. But either way, Doug did the right thing and didn't play Malik down the stretch.
Yeah, I played 20 minutes last night.
Yeah. Well, and to be honest with you, those were rough 20 minutes.
They were not good.
No, none of them.
1 of 8, 0 of 3 from 3. Finished with 8 points, 7 boards, 3 assists, and a steal. 4 turnovers.
4 turnovers.
Oh.
And the turnovers were egregious.
One of the things I do appreciate is that urgency from Doug, where it's not, all right, Keegan Murray's out, so Trey Lyles in the starting lineup. That means like Isaac Jones got 5.5 minutes, but it wasn't Isaac Jones, you're going to play 15 minutes just because we kind of need somebody in the rotation. It wasn't, Malik, you're getting 30 minutes. Like, go out and figure it out. There was that urgency of need this game, have a chance to win this game. So, Zach, you're playing 42 minutes.
Yeah.
Trey Lyles, you're playing 40 minutes. DeMar, you're playing 40 minutes. And again, is that sustainable down the stretch? No, but for this last week of the year,
yeah, you got 4 games left, right?
You have no choice.
Yeah.
This is the position you put yourself in. So I did appreciate that from Doug last night, that in that spot, we saw him operate with the level of urgency as a coach that I think the Kings needed.
Yeah, I mean, last night's game very specifically, because the Kings play again today against the Detroit Pistons. Kyle's Detroit Pistons.
My Pistons, thank you.
But it was Doug just pushing all of his chips in and saying, look, we think we can get this win. And when you're hanging around at halftime, when you're hanging around in the third quarter, you start to build a lead, all that stuff. It's like, okay, we're going all in. I mean, Jonas Valanciunas didn't play in the second half. I don't think I think Malik Monk is the only bench player to play in the second half.
Yeah, he played 10 minutes in the second half.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, he played 3.5 minutes in the fourth quarter. and 10 minutes total in the second half.
Yeah, I mean, like desperate times call for desperate measures, and I don't know what this team is going to look like tonight. Hopefully, they get Keegan Murray back. We have no idea on Keegan Murray, so people know. Keegan, of course, missed last night's game with back soreness. The Kings, because of the back-to-back, they do not have to give out an injury report until later in the day. Although it is again an early game, East Coast game. So we'll have to figure out when they're actually going to give it to us. But I think it's 12:30 when we'll find out. But
great,
I'm not
after
sure.
the show.
Yeah, so after the show.
Love that. Shout out to the Kings for getting an egregiously bad call to go their way. We love to see it. Incredible. I don't know. Look, dude. We see missed calls all the time. The reason the Kings won the game yesterday wasn't because of that missed call on the Zach LaVine layup that was after the shot clock buzzer. That was not the reason the Kings won, which is why the thing that fascinates me about this is that there's not a clear way to handle that, because it seemed to me in real time, I was like, oh, they're going to review that bucket.
Oh yeah.
Like that looked like, but maybe he got I personally could not tell in real time, but it was like, that was really close. I think they're going to stop the game here and review that. And then they just didn't. And then they had that super long review late in the game on the Donovan Mitchell foul on the 3, but he stepped out of bounds.
Yes.
They did that super long review, and I'm watching on silent. And I'm like, oh, they must be finally reviewing that Zach LaVine bucket. What a weird thing that they're doing that now. And then they come out and they're like, no, ball's going the other way. It's like, oh my God.
And this was on the final 53 seconds.
Yes.
Right? So the LaVine, again, it was another one of those weird plays where they wasted way too much time on the shot clock. And then LaVine got the ball with like 2.5 seconds left. He races to the basket. Clearly does not get the shot off.
Late.
The ball was fully still on his hand before the lights go off. Couple of things. Number one, Cleveland doesn't have like the whole backboard light up red. I don't understand that.
I figured that would be like a standard.
I thought it was too.
Thing.
They had like a yellow strip going across the middle of the inside of the backboard that lit up for a shot clock violation. So I went back and looked at the rules, and first of all, the officials admitted they were wrong at the end of the game. They admitted they were wrong, but they had no way to rectify it. And to me, I was super confused by that, because what we saw like on the homestand last week, 2 weeks ago, whenever it was, there was a game where the Kings, it goes to a timeout, it goes to a TV timeout. We came back out of that, and the official gets on the mic and says, hey, the shot at whatever point in that quarter was disallowed. It came after the shot clock. So they took points off the board.
Right.
So I'm under the assumption that that's possibly what's going to happen at any moment.
Yes.
That someone's going to hit, like even the review center, they're watching the game the whole time and they trigger reviews. Right. So I'm waiting and I'm waiting and I'm waiting. And then once we got past it and you realize they're not going to review it, and then the officials come out, Courtney Kirkland came out and says, hey, sorry, it's our bad. But like once the ball got inbounds, there's nothing we can do about it. And I'm like, what?
That's not the case. That's definitely not the case.
So I looked up
Yeah.
So there's prior to the second mandatory timeout in the fourth period, the review must take place at the next timeout or period break following the basket in question. If the next break is at halftime, the review, blah, blah, blah. Following the second mandatory timeout, which is where we're at in this situation, in the fourth period and any overtime period, the review will take place at the next clock stoppage, including immediately upon a successful basket when the clock stops in the last 2 minutes. Well, what happened was they gave LaVine the basket. The Cavs came down. They scored.
Jared Allen dunk.
Yeah. The Kings inbounds, play over. It's over at that point. It's dead. They can't go back and review it.
Right.
That's what this rule says, which is totally bizarre that in the final 2 minutes of a game that they're not going to review something that they review all the time during the game.
As soon as To me, the protocol should be, and again, this is not the reason the Kings won the game. It's just an
Yeah.
interesting procedural officiating thing. Also, the league owes the Kings like 10, but it's fine.
Oh, 40.
An entire playoff series if we're keeping it a stack. So I don't understand how it's not just protocol. If somebody makes a bucket at the shot clock buzzer, that it's not like, hang on, stop.
Yeah.
Let's check that real quick.
Well, it is, because that's what they do with a 3-pointer. In that situation, if DeMar DeRozan took a 3, someone, let's say like DeMar DeRozan took a 3.
Let's just pick a person who might have a toe on the line. I don't know. Just pick.
And you're like, wait, did he have his toe on the line or not? Or not? You can go back right then, because it changes the way you play out the final 35 seconds, 40 seconds of the game.
Mm-hmm.
The Donovan Mitchell play.
Mm-hmm.
Again, it changes the finals.
Yep.
So they're like, hang on, let's get it right. But the fact that they didn't look at this to get it right means that they weren't paying attention when it happened in real time.
Crazy.
Wild.
And maybe it's because of what you brought up. Maybe it's because they're used to like corner of their eye. Oh, big red square is going to light up.
Yeah.
But the Cavs have one LED strip.
Yeah.
That is meant to go under your counter or under your cabinets. They're like, that'll do. That works, right?
So confused. So confused.
It's the Cleveland of shot clock buzzers.
It is.
Crazy. Well, nevertheless, Kings win 120 to 113 over the Cavs. They sweep the Cavs. They go 3-1 against Boston and Cleveland this year.
That's just bizarre.
Sure, man.
Yeah.
We'll keep diving into that. We'll take a look at the Wild West in the NBA. We'll take a look at the Wild NL West as well. The San Francisco Giants now leading the NL West. Meanwhile, the A's, I have good news. I've got some good early signs, despite the fact that maybe they're not playing as well as we thought they would. I have some good news for you on that front. Tons of basketball, a little baseball coming up here on The Insider, sponsored by Jiffy Lube. That's James Ham. He's Joe Brazil. I'm Kyle Madsen. We're The Insiders here on Sacramento Sports Leader, ESPN 1320. Thanks, Joe.
What's going on, everybody? Yeah, I've never seen like a backboard that doesn't light up like that. Leezy, have I noticed how bad DeRozan's 3-point form is? Look, man, that dude's just trying to get through another 2 years, and
it's like the floor is lava beyond the 3-point arc. Like that one he had in the corner yesterday.
Yeah,
it was like he caught it with his feet behind the line, and then like
shuffles forward.
He didn't travel, but he like made sure he had a foot inside the line before. It's like, what are we doing here?
Yeah, he has to walk into him like he's a rhythm shooter, and that's
everyone.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
Anyway. Yeah, I mean, and not only that, DeRozan shooting 34.2% on 3.3 attempts per game. He's got more 3-pointers this season than any point in his career. He's made 82.
He's got is his career high 89 for a season?
I thought he'd already passed his career high.
Oh, did he? Was it 79?
Oh no, you're right. It is 89.
Come on. Good knowledge.
I swear, somebody. I am not listening to the broadcast ever again.
He's not even at his career high in attempts. He's not even at his career high in 3-point percent. I don't know what he's at his career high is.
Yeah. Yeah, he's not.
He needs 8 more
to have a career high.
This man has been in the NBA since 2009-10 in the middle of this 3-point revolution, and his career high in made threes is 89.
He's got 613.
Oh my God, hang on. This is a funny thing. His career high in attempts is 287, which is not a lot. DeMar DeRozan's career high in 3-point attempts is 287. Steph Curry has 6 seasons where he's made more than that.
What?
And he has another one where he has 286 and another one where he made 285.
He's 27th all time in the NBA in scoring. Is it 27th or 26?
26 now.
Yeah, he surpassed the great Jerry West. And he's got like 71 more made 3-pointers in his career than Keegan Murray.
It's so ridiculous. He's made more than 1 3 a game twice in his career, and one of them's this year.
Wild.
What an incredible player. You know what's funny though is whenever he shoots a 3, I'm like, that's going in. He shoots 34.2% for the season, but like anecdotally in my head, he's at like 68%. I swear to God, he never misses a 3.
Yeah, especially late in a game.
Yeah.
Yeah, the step in threes.
Yeah.
Almost all of his threes are step ins.
Yeah.
He also he does a step in free throw. Like that's just what he does.
Works.
Yep.
25 dudes in NBA history have scored more points than him, so
Now, back to the Insiders with James Ham and Kyle Madsen, brought to you by Jiffy Lube on ESPN 1320.
Real quick, I want to put a pin in the sports talk for a moment to give a big congratulations to friend of the program, Chris Biederman, and his lovely bride, Leanne. They got married this weekend. It was a delightful time. A terrific wedding downtown. There was an after party. I've never been to a wedding after party where it was like
legit,
like people like getting after it. My idea of a wedding after party is like we're all going to sit around in the hotel lobby and we're going to DoorDash some Taco Bell and drink beers. No, it was like a party. It was a great time.
How did the barber experience go for you?
It was great. So I took your guys' advice. I just went in there. I didn't do anything to myself. And I sat down and I said, can we just get the stubble off the top? This is how I normally, this is the lines I usually use. Can we trim here and here? And she was like, bet, got you. Bop, bop, bop. And she's like, do you want me to do this to your beard? And I was like, no idea. Whatever you think is going to look good. And she was like, bet. It was great. I'm really happy with my decision.
Did they like use a little brush like on your entire head?
No, no. She did a little like a barber's brush.
Oh, okay.
Like just a little like sweep.
Oh, she's
like some with
swept
the dust, with the dusty stuff. I don't know exactly what it is.
Okay.
Some kind of powder. But yeah, man, it was great. So congrats to Chris and Leanne. I'm not going to get all cheesy about them on the radio. I'll just write them a letter and do that. Because they're a great party. They're a hell of a party. Yeah. Anyways, the food was great. Chris would not shut up about how good the food was going to be.
Yeah.
And he's like, food's about to be bomb. Food's about to be bomb. I was like, all right, yeah, man, I've had wedding food before. I got it. No. Food was bomb. He undersold it.
You've been there before, haven't you?
I have not.
Oh, yeah.
I have never been there.
I had a lunch meeting
downtown.
There. Yeah, I had
okay, thank you. Okay.
I had a lunch meeting there like 8 months ago, and it was like, oh, this is so good.
All right, so they had like a salad, some kind of salad with like walnuts and like a sesame dressing. Bomb. Bread from Acme Bread Co. Bomb. Yep. With this like salted Sierra Nevada butter.
Yeah.
Unreal. What was next? Some kind of pasta that had like arugula and peas in it. Couldn't get enough of it. Our table was like, because they served it family style. We were like, bring more of this. Just mas pasta. Just keep bringing that around. I'm not a seafood guy at all.
Nope.
I'll do like shrimp. I'll do like a swordfish steak.
Okay. You might be a seafood guy.
I'm not a seafood guy. I'm definitely not a seafood guy. Like salmon, get it out of my face. Don't want to touch it.
Really?
But it was some kind of sea bass with this really good like salsa verde on it with some saffron rice and some carrots.
Oh, dude.
Outstanding. Ate multiple pieces of fish. which is not a thing I would usually do. And then there was a steak with some asparagus and a potato puree that was.
This sounds like a lot of food.
It was so much food. And then drinks, dancing.
Very cool.
What a night. What a night. Shout out to Chris and Leanne. Air horns one more. Real quick, before we get back into the Kings, our NCAA Men's Championship game is set. Florida v. Houston. That broadcast is here on ESPN 1320. Coverage begins at 4 o'clock tonight. That Duke blown lead, that 6 points with 34 seconds left or whatever it was.
Wild.
All-time bad. All-time collapse from our guys.
Yeah, that was really, really tough to watch.
But Florida-Auburn was a great game. Really, really good Final Four. I understand the gripe of there's no Cinderellas, there's no big-time upsets. Florida Gulf Coast or Loyola Chicago or whatever. Like Butler back in the day with Gordon Hayward and Brad Stevens. I understand missing that aspect of the tournament a little bit, but the awesome basketball has made up for it for me. I have not minded the fact that we aren't watching a 12 seed in the Final Four.
Yeah, I mean, this was like truly like the
four best teams,
all the ones,
yes.
Right? But to see them match up and actually play competitive games all the way down the stretch, yes. And again, Duke has the game sewn up and falls asleep at the wheel. Just could not figure it out. Just really, really crazy. But like overall, I thought the quality of basketball was phenomenal. Cooper Flagg was everything that we've heard about. Man, he was so incredibly good.
He is. Remember the story I told you before we knew each other when we were working at NBC together?
Yep.
And the reason I didn't go talk to you was because you had just had a really strong Lonzo Ball take. And I was like, wow, that's a stronger Lonzo Ball take than the one I have. So I don't want to talk to that guy. It was intimidating.
I had just gone to watch Lonzo Ball. They had I think the first 2 rounds in Sacramento.
Right.
With UCLA was there. Yeah.
Okay, so you were fresh off watching. And you had said, and obviously it hasn't gone this way, you had injuries and stuff, but you had said, like, I think he's a franchise-altering player. He is a person who turns a franchise around. That is how I feel about Cooper Flagg. This whole, like, I don't think there's I heard somebody smarter than me, say that his floor as a player, like if stuff goes sideways for him and he just doesn't figure it out in the NBA, his floor is like Nick Batum, which is a really long career of being a really good 3-and-D guy.
Yeah.
I think you have down here your thoughts. I'm with you. He is one of those dudes.
Yeah, he looks like straight up like a 1A.
Yes.
Yeah, you're just like, I don't know what he's going to average at the NBA level, but he's like such a multi-tool player. I mean, he had 27 points, 7 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 steals, and 3 blocks.
He's just a monster.
Well, that and all of the pressure was on him because he's the guy, right? And so everybody is watching. Like the number 2 and number 3 picks in the upcoming NBA draft, the projected 2 and 3s, both played at Rutgers and didn't even make the tournament. So it's like him by himself. Like, how are you going to play? Yes. And all the focus is on him. Now, they also have 2 other guys that are going to be top 10 picks at Duke. So, I mean, they're stacked. Their roster stacked. Yeah. And like the fact that they lost is just typical Duke. But
their roster is stacked, and he was so clearly the guy.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Without question. And again, I was fully sold on him as a player when he was at Team USA Select and just busted up Team USA.
Yeah.
And when you've got LeBron and Steph and Bam Adebayo and all these guys going like, hey, he's one of them ones. He's he's a dude. And then he goes out and backs it up with the freshman year that he had, and then goes out and backs that up in the Final Four. I just think he's built different.
Oh yeah.
And I just any doubt I had or any like I gotta see it. I don't need to see it anymore.
Yeah, you're just hoping like something weird doesn't happen. It doesn't turn into like Adam Morrison. Like you're just praying that doesn't happen. I don't think it will.
Be stunned.
I would too. I would
be stunned.
He's so incredibly good.
Yeah. So Florida, Houston tonight. 4 o'clock coverage begins right here on ESPN at 1320, the NCAA Men's Championship, and congratulations. To UConn on the women's side. They thumped South Carolina last night.
They're so bad. I mean, talk about a
Paige
storied
Becker's only had
franchise.
17. And they still dragged South Carolina.
Yeah, I mean, has there ever their dynasty is like the UCLA dynasty on the men's side. Like UConn they've been so good for so long.
There's never been a point where I've followed sports that UConn women's hoops hasn't been like the team.
1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah.
Yeah. I know South Carolina's had their run. Caitlin Clark was in the mix there for a little bit. Tennessee's obviously been incredible with their program, but UConn's just been around forever.
Oh yeah, just greatness.
They're still winning titles. So salute to them, and I'm excited to see what Paige Beckers does in the WNBA. A little more news in Major League Baseball.
This is crazy.
Vlad Guerrero Jr. Got a contract extension from the Blue Jays. 14 years, $500 million, no deferrals. They're deferring none of that money.
This is not a Dodgers special.
This is, dude, somebody pointed this out on the internet. And this is the greatest concern I have when you see a 14-year, $500 million contract for a guy like Vlad Guerrero Jr., who is an outstanding young player deserving of a deal like this. This is all careening toward another really ugly lockout in Major League Baseball.
Oh yeah.
Like this is not a sustainable model where to keep a player around, you have to keep him on a 14-year, $500 million deal. Or something in that vicinity.
Yeah, it's absolutely crazy.
It's insane.
He's going to make $35.7 million a year on average.
And if this was MLB, if this was just teams being like, yeah, we're going to spend and we're going to pay him this much and we're going to pay other guys this much. But like, no, it's the top guys get paid. And then you go into free agency every year and there's really good players on the market just into spring training. And it's because there's these guys making $500 million, $700 million on their contracts. And then there's everybody else. And owners aren't going to spend at the rate to keep everybody else happy and in the mix. It just doesn't work.
It doesn't. And to be honest with you, I don't know what the solution is. I don't know if they're ever going to be able to figure out. But at the same time, we talk about quarterbacks making $50, $60 million a year. We talk about, basketball players making $45, $50 million a year.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of where pro sports are going. Mm-hmm. And I know for every one of those guys, there's going to be like 5 of the guys that don't make anything.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I don't. It's kind of the path, isn't it?
We have to get toward a place. I know right now they have the competitive balance tax,
mm-hmm.
where teams have to. It's kind of like the luxury tax in the NBA, but at some point, like I'm of the mind where I sit today that I don't think like the Dodgers do anything wrong. I think the Dodgers have an ownership group that's willing to spend not only on their roster, but on their player development. And that allows them to continue churning out good prospects that they can trade and they can get good players. It's a good way to build a team. The problem is while they're doing that within the rules, there aren't enough other MLB owners who are willing to play at that level. And that doesn't mean the Dodgers are necessarily going to win the World Series this year. They're the favorite, but the Phillies could get them, or
mm-hmm.
the Padres could get them, or the Giants, the NL West leading Giants could get. I don't know. But the fact that there's one team that's like playing in this pool, and then there's a couple other teams that are going to spend big. You got the Mets, you've got your Yankees, the Padres have been willing to shell out money. The Red Sox not as much, but we know they can get there. We know the Cubs can get there. But like, there are 20 teams in the league that are just never going to be able to spend at that level. Or, excuse me, they'll never be willing to spend at that level. And if the league isn't going to incentivize owners like spending that money to be competitive,
mm-hmm.
you're going to lose your league. Because this trend is not going to beget baseball fans.
No, I get you. What I'm looking at right now, like the way that the Dodgers just like outspend. I mean, if you're going to have one team that spends 3 or 4 times more
mm-hmm.
than every other team or than teams at the bottom,
mm-hmm.
that just doesn't make sense. There has to be some sort of competitive balance. And I just don't think that we're ever going to get there. We do have some news. So just popping up.
We love news.
Maybe you don't. Keegan Murray is listed as questionable with back soreness. Jake LaRavia is out again with left thumb with a bone contusion.
Goodness me.
Keon Ellis has been listed as questionable with right hand soreness. I seem to remember him hurting his hand in the game last night, and I can't remember when it happened, but he got his hand caught. So we'll have to see what happens. But Sacramento Kings played tonight. That is the injury report for right now. Keon Ellis questionable. Jake LaRavia out. Keegan Murray is questionable, and of course
limping to the finish line.
Yeah, Isaiah Crawford and Mason Jones are both on their 2-way. They're away, and they actually.
Do they even have games left?
Yeah, they're playing for the championship. They won.
No, I meant in the NBA.
Oh yeah. Both of them have tons of games left.
Okay.
Yeah, I think Mason Jones only played 10 games, and I think Isaiah Crawford's less than that.
But isn't there a set amount they can play? Like your two-way spots can only play X amount of games?
No, there's 3. So each of them get 50 games.
I see.
Yeah. Mason Jones is at 10. Isaiah Crawford is at 15. I would not have guessed that Mason Jones had played less than Isaiah Crawford at the pro level.
I would not have guessed that either.
He's
That's
been
wild.
phenomenal. He has been absolutely phenomenal in their
Isaiah
playoff
Crawford
run.
guy.
Oh no, Mason Jones.
Oh, Mason Jones?
Yeah, Mason Jones put up
38 last night.
I think he put up 47 last in the playoffs. Yeah, he's backpacking that team.
Good for him.
Yep.
Just talking MLB payrolls real quick. The Dodgers payroll is $321 million, and that doesn't take into account all their deferrals.
How much?
$321 million.
And the A's is what?
$73 million.
Yeah.
The Mets are at 323. They have the highest payroll in the sport. The Yankees 293, and I'm rounding here. Phillies 284, Blue Jays 239, Rangers 220, Astros 220, Braves 214, Padres 208. Those are the 9 teams with payrolls over $200 million. And then you've got the Guardians are at 100, Pirates 87, White Sox 82, Rays 79, A's 73, Marlins 67. Yikes.
Yeah, the disparity is just, that's where you can't live. That's where
it's not tenable.
Yeah.
It's not going to work. That disparity long term.
Yeah.
It's just not.
Well, because people are going to get sick of it.
At some point, there's going to be a reckoning with Major League Baseball. But shout out to Vlad Guerrero getting in with a 14-year, $500 million deal.
It's awesome.
We love seeing guys get paid. That's James Ham. I'm Kyle Madsen. Joe Brazil riding along with us. We have 2 opportunities to win a $50 Jiffy Lube gift certificate and an exclusive Insiders hoodie that you can only get via this giveaway. This is courtesy of our friends at Jiffy Lube. We give you keywords after Kings games, and then you enter those keywords and you enter for a chance to win a $50 Jiffy Lube gift certificate, and an exclusive Insiders hoodie, courtesy of Jiffy Lube. We pull a winner on Fridays. What? Oh, got you. Okay. The first word, so this is for the Charlotte game.
Mm-hmm.
The first word is comfortable. 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 Comfortable.
The Kings won in comfortable fashion.
Yeah, they did. Go to ESPN1320.com. You'll find the Jiffy Lube contest page. You click on that. Enter the keyword comfortable, and you will be entered to win a $50 Jiffy Lube gift certificate and an exclusive Insiders hoodie that you can only get from this giveaway, or if you work there. And that's courtesy of our friends at Jiffy Lube. We will have a second opportunity to enter coming up in a bit here on the program. We'll dive back into the Sacramento Kings. We've got the A's and Giants are starting to really get rolling in their seasons. Not a great start for the A's, but I've got some numbers for you.
Mm-hmm.
If you're looking for some optimism, I've got some reasons to be optimistic about your Sacramento A's coming up in a bit. That's James. That's Joe. I'm Kyle. We're the Insider, sponsored by Jiffy Lube. This is ESPN 1320, and it is Sacramento Sports Center. Ew.
Sorry, right in the middle of that, I got the note that Keon was questionable, and I was trying to get it updated, refreshed.
You're good. Good question by Jim. We'll save that one. Yeah, honestly, this is my biggest concern tonight. It's just Isaiah Stewart doing some BS.
Oh, yeah.
Huh. The A's don't want to embrace Sacramento, but we will embrace the A's. Whether they like it or not.
How about a hook?
Yeah, Braves look really bad. No. I think he probably goes into like a 6-man role though.
Yeah, I think there are a lot of options there.
And they just have like Tim Hardaway Jr. is not a long-term piece. Tobias Harris is not a long-term piece.
No,
I think they still very much view him as part of a core moving forward.
Yeah, if anything, they bought them time to develop Ivy, to develop Asur, and to develop Ron Holland. Ron Holland's fun. He's going to be a ball player. It's just going to take a couple of years. Just super young. Stuart Thompson is shooting 21.7% from 3. Tonight, he'll have 6. Malik Beasley, he'll have 5. Maybe 7. Made 3s.
Who?
Malik Beasley. Yeah, I would say even Beasley isn't a long-term piece there. So I think they've done a nice job of like mixing in the old with the new. Got a opportunity to be pretty good.
Unrelated to anything we've talked about or will talk about.
Okay.
I just saw this headline. Denver is getting an NWSL team.
Okay.
A women's soccer team.
Mm-hmm.
They have 10,000 season ticket deposits.
What? Good for them.
That is wild.
That's awesome.
10,000.
I'm wondering why they haven't done that yet in Sacramento.
Yeah, kind of wild.
Yeah, I mean, the WNBA was so well attended here.
Yeah, dude. Amen Thompson was crazy last night. It was so good. Rockets in general played really well. Although I don't know how sustainable it is to rely on Dylan Brooks mid-range jumpers.
No, less Dylan Brooks is a good thing.
Really good win against the Lakers in Denver. I was like, after they beat the Lakers, I figured they were going to lose by 30 to the Nuggets. And so to win both of those was...
Well, the Nuggets are in a 4-game skid.
Yeah. Yeah, Jokic has been awesome, and they just can't. Empty stats, empty calories.
You see he's gone over 30 points a game again?
39, 10, and 10. 27, 14, and 6. 61, 10, and 10. 33, 12, and 9. 41, 15, and 13. And they're 2 and 3.
Jesus.
Oof.
Now, back to the Insiders with James Ham and Kyle Madsen, brought to you by Jiffy Lube on ESPN 1320.
James Ham's there. I'm Kyle. That's Joe. We're talking about Nikola Jokic at the break. He's back up to 30 points a night. He's had 61, 10, and 10, 33, 12, and 9, 41, 15, and 13 in their last 3 games, and they're 0-3.
That's horrible.
Yikes.
On the season,
dude.
30 point, 12.8 rebounds, and 10.2 assists.
I got one for you. The Nuggets are currently 4th in the West. They're 47 and 32. They are a half game up on the 5 through 8 seeds.
Yeah, it's just wild.
They're 47 and 32. The 5 through 8 seeds are all 46 and 32. The 5 through 8 seeds all play tonight. And from what I understand, if they all win, the Nuggets fall to the 8 seed, which does not seem real to me. That doesn't seem right to me.
No.
Because they've kicked the hell out of Golden State. They definitely have the Golden State tiebreaker head to head. But I don't know if it's that many teams all tied, I don't know where the tiebreakers go.
You can lose a tiebreaker to if you lose a tiebreaker to everybody, then you're out, right?
Okay.
But then if you have any tiebreakers that are mixed, then those teams stay in, I believe.
I see.
So, yeah. That's crazy. They're also only a game and a half behind the Lakers for the 3 seed.
I kind of think the Lakers are going to lock up the 3 seed. They're playing really well right now.
It does kind of feel that way.
They're playing really well. Dude, I made a joke on the internet the other night, which is always a terrible idea. I joked because Brandon Pajemski in the Warriors game against the Lakers had 22 in the first half. Hit a runner for 3 at the buzzer, just silly. And so I joked because Austin Reeves is obviously a far better player than Brandon Pajemski. It is without question.
Yeah, he is.
Not even close.
And we're not even Austin Reeves fans.
We're not even Austin Reeves guys, but he's been really good lately. But I joked that I said Brandon Pajemski is just ethical Austin Reeves. And dude, that got to the weirdest place of Lakers Twitter.
Oh no.
I had the most heinous things said about me, about my family, about anything. Anything was on the table.
Wow.
In the responses to this. Like, just insane.
That's crazy.
Like, the joke is, people are like, AR, like they're best friends. AR's a way better player than him. Blah, 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 blah. You guys need to get his, what's the word I'm looking for? Anatomy out of your anatomy. Like, dude, insane.
Wow.
And I'm like, yeah, no, the joke is that Austin Reeves is really good. Right? Like,
yeah,
that's the funny. Is that Brandon Pajemski is not on that level. He had a really nice half. This is the joke.
Yes.
Man, I'm not usually a blocker on the internet.
Oh yeah.
But when you start getting weird like that, get out.
That's where I block people when they get really weird, when they say things that are like offensive, like really over the top offensive.
Yeah.
Or they use profanity or racial comments.
Yeah.
I'm done. I don't want that in my timeline. Get out.
1,000%. If it's anything that I'm like, you would never ever say that to somebody's face. And if you would, I don't want to deal with you anyway.
Yep.
That's where I draw the line. The amount of anyways.
Austin Reeves.
Weird place of Lakers Twitter. That tweet made it.
Austin Reeves is averaging 20.2 points, 5.8 assists, and 4.5 rebounds.
Yeah, dude. He's been really good.
Yeah.
He's their legit third guy.
Yep.
It's LeBron and Luka in some order, and then Austin Reeves. They're dangerous, man. So the A's took 2 out of 3 from the Rockies over the weekend. They struggled obviously in their home opening series against the Cubs.
Mm-hmm.
They got outscored 35-9. And I don't think they've played as well as I think all 3 of us thought they would to start the year. But on the other hand, I have some potentially good news. Let me get this. Let me make sure I have this right first.
I'm here for it.
In the American League West, the A's are 4-6. They are 4 games back of the 8-2 Texas Rangers. The Halos at 6-3. Our Halos at 6-3. Then there's a Houston Astros at 4-6. 4-5. A's at 4-6. Here's some good news for the A's, despite their 4-6. Their strikeout rate 20.1%. That's tied for 7th best in baseball. They're not striking out a lot. That's good news.
Okay.
Their walk rate is also starting to tick up. It's at 18th in the league right now, but that's fine. Their team on base percentage has corresponded with that. It's up to 307. Their runs created plus analytic that average is 100. They're at 106. That is 11th. I'm not going to get into the math of how the runs created plus works, but when you sort by that, you usually get a really good list of the top hitters. Just a really good kind of catch-all stat. Here's the thing that jumps out to me. So the A's right now, batting average on balls in play. That is your batting average if you take away home runs, strikeouts. Their batting average on balls in play is only 262, which is low. They have the second lowest pull rate in baseball, but they're still tied for 4th in contact rate or hard contact rate. So they're hitting. Here's the crux of to get
what
away
you're
from
trying to say. Yep.
They're hitting the hell out of the ball. They're just not hitting it in the air enough, is what the numbers tell me. So at some point, they're going to start hitting the ball in the air. And when they do, it's been going over the fence. They're using the whole field when they're hitting. They're not striking out a lot. So what this looks like to me, and this bears itself out a little bit, they're having a lot of hard contact. They're hitting the ball hard right at people.
Yeah.
Pretty consistently.
Yeah. And
they're hitting it on the ground too often, but that's something I think they can fix, little adjustments. But I think there's a offensive turnaround here coming for the A's, and maybe it's when they come back home against the Padres. That series opens tonight at Sutter Health Park. Maybe it starts this weekend or this week. But at some point, all those hard hit balls are going to turn into hits. Some of their ground balls are going to turn into fly balls, and those balls are going to go over the fence. And at some point, we're going to see the A's start scoring a ton of runs here and winning a lot of games.
Yeah, I mean, I think they're predictors, whether it's basketball or baseball or even football. I think there's some predictors that you can look at. And the fact that they're hitting the ball hard, when I'm watching them play, I feel like every single time that I'm watching the opposition, there's all of these line drives right to left field. It's like line drive, base hits to left field, right? Or it's over the fence. I don't see anybody spraying the ball anymore. There's so little going opposite field, so little like it's usually guys just pulling the ball. And I think that's where you're looking at the A's right now, where they have hit, they are going using the whole field. But on top of that, if they did just do what everyone else is doing, which is pull the ball the whole time, they're probably going to find a little bit more success as well. That's just, so
I think so.
I'm surprised that their strikeout rate isn't higher because, like, watching them play, they just strike out the most inopportune times too.
Yeah.
So, and they've had a couple of pitchers who step up and go out there and just don't look like major league pitchers at all. Like Joey Estes is unfortunately he does not look like a major league pitcher at all.
No.
And he's probably going to have to go down there, go down to the minors. They're going to have to bring someone else up and see if they can figure that one out and then bring him back up later in the season. But for right now, I think their frontline starters are doing very well, but every 5th day you're getting clubbed.
Joey Estes this season in 2 starts has a 15.43 ERA. He's gone 7 innings
total.
And
how many hits has he given up?
15. 12 runs all earned. He's given up 4 home runs. That's the most in the league. He's walked 6 and struck out 5.
Yeah.
Not great.
No, so in 7 innings, he's given up 15 hits and 6 walks.
Yeah. His whip, his walks and hits per innings pitch is 3.
Yeah. That's wild.
Not great.
That is not good at all.
Not great. But this was always going to be kind of their downfall, I think. Like I said, I think offensively they'll figure it out. But man, their pitching staff, just top to bottom, I not a believer in. I've seen that bear itself out a little bit.
Yeah.
Anyways. Shout out to the A's. Back home tonight, Sutter Health Park, 3-game set against the San Diego Padres. The Giants, on the other hand, won 7 in a row. They're now 8-1. They're now leading the National League West. The story of the first 2 weeks of the season was that the Dodgers might not lose a game
ever.
And now all of a sudden the Giants are sitting at 8-1, a game ahead of the Dodgers. Oh, game up in the win column, game back in the win column, but a game up in the loss column. Insane. The Dodgers sitting at 9-2, Padres 8-2, half game back of the Giants and Dodgers. Salute to the Giants, man, just figuring it out.
Yeah, they play hard.
Yeah,
they got a bunch of randos.
Yep.
So I watched him play a little bit this weekend, and Chapman's just like roping the ball.
Yeah, he's hitting the ball hard. Patrick Bailey continuing to struggle, but I think that's something he'll figure out. We're talking about what they're doing on the base paths, though. Just consistently figuring out ways to take an extra base. Whether that's on, going first to third on a base hit, whether that's stealing a bag. Like when you're just creating those extra advantages, man, I know that the numbers and the analytics may say that like, oh, it's dangerous to like risk reward doesn't work out. But I feel like every team that is just a nightmare on the bases is always good.
Oh yeah, dude, speed kills.
You saw it with the Royals when they lost to the Giants in the 2014 World Series and then won the next one. They just ran the bases like crazy.
Isn't that the Royals team that just stole all the bases on John Lester?
Yeah.
Sorry to bring that up, but
that was tough.
Yeah,
I think Giovanni Soto started behind the plate in that game. Oof. Tough.
Yeah, not good.
Anyways. Shout out to the Giants. Good team. I have to talk to you guys about Underdog, which is my very favorite thing. I did not have a lineup last night. I'm sitting there in the middle of just watching games late last night because the Kings played at 3:00. And so I was just flipping through games at the end, and I was like, oh no, I don't have an Underdog lineup in. So I made sure to get one in today. Underdog Daily Fantasy. You pick 2 or more players. This is what their pick'em game. You pick 2 or more players. You pick higher or lower on their stats. And then you can win up to 1,000 times your money. They've got NBA going on right now with the playoffs ramping up. Good time to jump in. Baseball season's in full swing. You've got men's college basketball national championship tonight. Really, really good time to jump in on Underdog and use my promo code KYLEM, KYLEM. Use that promo code and you can unlock a special offer of up to $1,000 in bonus cash. More on that in a second. Here's my lineup tonight for the Kings-Pistons game. Asor Thompson, I'm going higher than 12.5 points. Domantas Sabonis, I'm going higher than 5.5 assists because the Kings know what's good for him. They will continue running the ball through Domantas Sabonis. And if they do that, he is going to go higher than 5.5 assists. And then Zach LaVine. I'm a believer now. Higher than 20.5 points. Can I get 21 from Zach LaVine tonight?
You're a believer.
I'm a believer in Zach LaVine getting me 21 and helping me win my Underdog lineup. Download the Underdog app and sign up now using promo code KYLEM. That's KYLEM to unlock a special offer of up to $1,000 in bonus cash when you make your first deposit. Excuse me. Join in on the fun when you sign up with promo code KYLEM, KYLEM. Claim your special offer today and get up to $1,000 in bonus cash instantly upon first deposit. Must be 18 plus and present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. Void in Colorado. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.ncbgambling.org. In Arizona, call 1-800-NEXT-STEP or text NEXT STEP to 53342. In New York, call the 24/7 Hope line. That's 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY. We'll get back into the Sacramento Kings against the Detroit Pistons. That game happening tonight. We'll give you keys to the game, matchups we're watching. Should be a fun one in Detroit as the Kings rack up their 6-game road trip. We'll talk about that next on The Insiders. That's James Ham. That's Joe Brazil. I'm Kyle Madsen. We're The Insiders, sponsored by Jiffy Lube on ESPN 1320 at Sacramento Sports Center.
Whoa. You all right over there?
Working on it. We're almost clear.
Oh,
God, I'm so mad.
Kill the mics for 1 sec.
This is not. Oh, I see. Oh, what are we? Whatever, man. Had to what?
Who the what? Now we got to go back up. Oh.
Yeah, man, we're working through it. It's gotten progressively better each day, if you can imagine. I can laugh now without hacking up a lung. Which is good.
All right. Sweet. Hmm.
Playoff matchups right now. So if everything goes chalk in the play-in, be Thunder and Grizzlies in round 1, Minnesota, Houston, Lakers, Warriors, and then Clippers, Nuggets.
Some good series.
Yeah. I don't think there's any way that these can shuffle where I don't think we'd get a good first round in the West.
You know what's crazy too? We talked about this like 2 years ago that, the Kings won 48 and were the 3rd seed. Right now, with 4 games left in the season, the Lakers are 48 wins. Like, it's like all of these teams are bunched up right around 48, 47, 46, but there might not be more than, I don't know, 3. It's possible there could be 3 50-win teams in the West.
Mm-hmm.
And that tells you the level of competition.
Yeah. Hour number 2, that's James Ham. I'm Kyle Madsen. Joe Brazil here with us, pushing buttons, doing all the stuff behind the scenes. We appreciate him immensely. We're sponsored by Jiffy Lube, and we're hanging out with you till noon. Then we'll hand it off to D-Lo and KC. And D-Lo and KC will take you up to 4 o'clock right here on ESPN 1320. And then at 4 o'clock, coverage begins of the men's basketball national championship, Houston v. Florida. Should be a good one.
Hopefully they let Hakeem Olajuwon on the court if they win.
Good Lord, bro.
Seriously.
If I get that not everybody's a sports fan, but I feel like if you're working at a basketball arena, you have a cursory knowledge, right? If you work at that arena and okay, Duke, Houston, there are going to be luminaries there. It's a big game. Wouldn't you do like a little studying? Wouldn't you ask around like, hey, who's famous here? Who might be trying to get on the court after the game? Coach K might try and get on the court after the game. Cool, that's Coach K. I know what he looks like. Bet. Well, how do you spell his last name? That's crazy. I'll remember his face. Hakeem Olajuwon, Houston legend. Going to be in the building? Cool. If he tries to get on the court, we'll make sure we know that. How is he getting stopped and not let on the court?
We're not just talking like Houston Rockets legend. He's like Houston University.
Yes.
The university. Like, what in the world?
I don't understand.
Like, what an embarrassment.
There's
I just feel bad.
There's an element of, look, man, I got a job to do.
Yep.
And if that's me, a nobody, trying to get onto the court at the Kings game, and I go, hey man, I left my credential up at my seat. Can I I'm just gonna sit right here. And that guy goes, nope, I got a job to do. You need to get your credential.
Yeah.
Got it. Fine. That's the right thing for that person to do. If I'm Hakeem Olajuwon, and I'm like, yeah, I was just sitting right here. I made this place famous. I'm one of the best centers of all time in this sport, and I'm a legend of this university and of the city that this university is in. And you're going, no, sir, not without a credential. Take a hike.
This is not
Take a freaking hike.
Don't you know who I am moment. This is like, what in the world are you thinking?
This is dude, you got to make a play.
Yeah.
What a weird power trip.
Yeah.
And like I said, maybe the person just genuinely has no idea about sports, which is a weird thing to be doing if that's your job. Maybe they just don't know. But man, that has real power trip feels to me.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Just not good.
Like, I don't care who you are. All right, man. Whatever. You hit me with something the other day.
Uh-oh.
Now we'll put a pin in that. We'll talk Kings Pistons first. I want to talk about this situation where the Kings like make the play in but also keep their pick?
Yeah.
It's out there. But let's do Kings Pistons first. Because part of the thing is the Kings would need to be the 10 seed, right?
Yeah, I think 9 or 10, either one.
Okay,
Like,
got it.
I think everything's on the table right now. Just because they're half game up on Dallas doesn't mean anything.
Okay, so here's how I'm viewing this game tonight. Here's how I'm choosing to view Kings Pistons tonight. I'm not viewing it through the lens of like keeping a pick. If that all works out again, we'll take you through the scenario here.
Mhm.
I'm choosing to view this as, what do the Kings have to do to kind of at least make some noise here over the next couple of weeks in the play-in and in the playoffs? I'm not buying that a light switch came on yesterday and they figured it out, because that has happened 4 or 5 or 6 or 7 times over the last couple of months.
Yeah.
Where we've been like, oh, here it is. Okay, they figured, and then they did.
There they are.
And then they're gone. But that's how I'm choosing to view tonight. Can you get another game like that where, man, DeMar DeRozan playing within the flow of the offense, Zach LaVine being the clear 1A, they're running things through Domantas Sabonis and letting that be their offensive hub for most of the game. They're really high effort defensively.
Mhm.
Can I just get those things again?
Active hands, like just the basics.
Can I? Because I don't know. For them to get the benefit of the doubt, like, they're gonna have to show me. And that's what I'm watching for today. If you wind up losing because somebody got hot from 3, Malik Beasley hit 9 threes, all right, whatever, man. But just can you put together that same game plan? Can you put together these things that they've been successful at? Every time they win, we're like, hey, look, they did these 3 things. Domas was involved. Zach LaVine was involved heavily. DeMar DeRozan was involved, but within the flow of the... We say it every time.
Mhm.
Can you do it again? They do. They got a really good chance to win.
I'm slightly concerned about the fact that everyone played 45 minutes, 40-something minutes on a second night of back-to-back. I mean, yeah, on the front end. Like, you went all in. And when you go all in, you're taking a risk. And the Kings took a risk earlier this season. They went all in, they lost. And then came back the next night and got thumped by the Knicks. They went all in, against the Clippers, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, like, at this point, like, there's only 4 games left in the season. Like, leave every single thing that you have in your body out there on the court. Like, just play your hardest, and you're a very talented group. There's got to be a way in which you can jump in and at least be competitive against a really good team, an up-and-coming team, but still a quality team in the Detroit Pistons.
Yeah.
So I don't know if they've got it in them, because they've shown me time and time again that they don't. But I'm willing to at least go, okay, you win this game, you're in the play-in without any question.
Yeah, they're 3 games up on the Suns with 4 games to go. So the Kings would have to lose their next 3, and the Suns would have to win their next 3 and then beat the Kings. So the Suns have to win out.
Pretty much. No, there is a way in which if you win tonight and the Suns win all 4 of their games and you lose 2 more games and then get to the final game and lose to the Suns, that you would tie with the Suns and the Suns would be in because of tiebreakers.
Right. Yeah, that's what I'm...
So,
but the Suns can't lose again.
No, the Suns can't lose again. This is tough. Like, look, this is...
Like, you're in.
Yeah. I mean, there's the probability of the Kings being in is high at this point.
Yeah,
So,
you'd have to lose out, and the Suns would basically have to win out, more or less. I don't think that's happening.
But you do have... The Kings have Detroit. They have Denver. They have the Clippers. All 3 of these guys. Detroit is if you're looking at the final 4 games, they're the mark.
Yeah, the easy game.
It's on the second night of a back-to-back, but the way that they're sitting in the standings, they don't want to win games at this point. They're locked in right now as the 3-6, and I would much rather be the 3-6 facing the Knicks in the first round than somehow like dropping back and playing against... Why was I thinking if they win that they would move up and play?
If they want, they'd play the Pacers if they get to 5.
Oh no,
I think
I'm
you'd
wrong.
way
Then.
rather play the Pacers.
Yeah, you would way rather play the Pacers. My bad. I was thinking if they drop, and there's no way for them to drop.
Correct.
If they
Yeah,
were to
they're
drop
locked.
to 7, you don't want to play Boston.
Yeah, and they can't.
Yeah.
They're 5 games up on Orlando with 4 to go.
Yeah, I mean, they can still track. I guess they can still track Milwaukee. I don't know what their tiebreaker scenario is, but
either.
Detroit's lost 1. Milwaukee's won 4 in a row. They're both 6-4 over the last 10. So, like, still,
Oh, hey, here you go. Milwaukee gets Minnesota, then New Orleans, Tuesday and Thursday this week.
Mhm.
And then Friday, Sunday, Pistons.
Oh, so it'll all be decided.
Yeah.
Right
so
there.
Detroit's trying to win for sure. Here's the thing with Phoenix when we were talking about the Kings and getting in. They have a back-to-back starting tomorrow against Golden State and Oklahoma City.
Mm.
Then they play San Antonio. Then they've got the Suns. I don't think they're beating both Golden State and Oklahoma City. They've lost 6 in a row.
Yeah. So they've got those 2.
Mm-hmm.
Then they finish with the Kings. There we go.
Yeah. And they've got the Spurs smushed in there.
Yeah,
man. You got keys to victory for tonight?
Yeah, I got keys to victory.
Hell yeah.
Doug went for broke against the Cavs with starters playing 40+ minutes. Someone else has to step up. Like I don't know who it is, but a bunch of dudes played, like 4 dudes played 5 minutes. Somebody, whether it's Jonas Valanciunas or I don't know, like Malik Monk. Malik Monk needs to step up. Somebody has to step up because the starters played huge minutes, and there's a possibility no Keon Ellis tonight. There's a possibility of no Keegan Murray tonight.
Jesus.
That makes things a little dicey.
Yikes.
Isaac Jones. I need Isaac Jones to have big minutes and play big.
We need a big Isaac Jones game is key number 1. Key number 1 for me, a little bit along the same lines, but I need that Zach LaVine, DeMar DeRozan duo. How it was working last night, let it work again like that. What I don't need is DeMar DeRozan going, hey, Zach had his night last night. Now it's my turn. That's not how if DeMar DeRozan gets 25 shots within the flow of the offense because Zach LaVine is hot and Detroit is doing everything they can to deny him the ball and DeMar DeRozan is going to get his shots, awesome. Love it. But it can't be Zach LaVine has 11 shot attempts tonight because he was just not involved.
No, I totally agree.
So give me that when DeMar DeRozan and Zach LaVine are playing together like they did last night.
Mm-hmm.
I think the Kings offense is really fun and really hard to stop. Number 2.
There are no scheduled losses left. The Kings can't afford a scheduled loss. They can't say, hey, we're losing because of XYZ. It doesn't matter anymore. Like, you have got to suck it up and go play. And it doesn't matter how many minutes everyone played last night. It doesn't matter what time you got into the airport, what time you got into the hotel. I don't care. Whatever it is.
Yep.
Yeah.
Number 2 for me, you got to keep running the ball through Domas, man. The best version of the Kings is when he's orchestrating.
Mm-hmm.
And that doesn't necessarily mean that it's catch and shoot for everybody, but it's moving the ball. It's keeping players in motion. It's getting the ball in the post against defenders who can't stop him and letting him cook a little bit there.
Yeah.
Like there's just so many good things happen when he has the ball in his hands. And I think they need to continue making that happen. Number 3.
Avoid the track meet. The Pistons are 6th in the league in pace. I can't imagine, like, I can say that, there are no scheduled losses and, I don't care if everybody played 40 minutes, but at the end of the day, the one way to save yourself a little bit is to grind this team down and don't let them get out and transition and just beat you up that way. So efficient offense, get back on defense, slow the game down a little bit. I like when the Kings play with more pace, but not on the second night of a back-to-back when you went for broke the night before.
Against a team that is really, really good and getting out and playing with pace.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think, and that's where I think you have the tools offensively to slow the game down like that. And I would definitely like to see that tonight. That doesn't mean if you get a long rebound off a miss and you can hit it ahead for an easy 2, like go for it. But limiting turnovers. When you do score, getting back and playing transition defense, those are all going to be big tonight, no doubt. Number 3 for me, treat Cade Cunningham like a superstar because he's growing into that role. That means doubling, get the ball out of his hands. He's been a really, really effective scorer, but he's also a really, really effective playmaker. I wouldn't hate it if the Kings treat him like they do players like Steph Curry, where they're just going to double, and you know what? We'll play 3-on-4 with the other 4 guys and live with it.
Yeah, I think the one problem
I'd
the
be fine
Kings
with that.
have is that Keon Ellis and Keegan Murray are both questionable tonight,
Yeah.
and that's who you would throw it at Cade Cunningham.
Yeah.
So you're gonna have to somebody's gonna have to defend him. And if there was a third guy you would throw at him, it would be Jake LaRavia, and he ain't playing at all. So
Is it Jay Crowder season? We got Jay
maybe.
Crowder minutes tonight?
Oh no.
Well-
It's probably more like Doug McDermott. Uh-oh.
Defensive stopper Doug McDermott. Watch out, everyone. They're keys to victory tonight.
Yeah.
Also, don't let Isaiah Stewart hurt anyone.
Yeah, that's my matchup of the game. Isaiah Stewart against his own anger issues.
Like, man, I used to think that he was unhinged, but like in a good way.
Yeah, you're like beef stew. We
Yeah,
want more beef stew.
Yeah, give him hell, Isaiah, and then just.
No.
I
feel unsafe.
I thought I learned this the other day. I thought beef stew was like, Wellington Castillo used to play for the Arizona Diamondbacks, among with some other teams, but he was called Beef Wellington. Because he's just a beefy guy, and Beef Wellington is a dish, like we all know. I thought that was Isaiah Stewart, beef stew, because he's just like a beefy guy. No, it's because he has beef with everybody.
It is.
Like, oh, okay, I get it. He's an actual like
Angry person.
like just a mad guy.
Yeah, you're not happy.
Don't get
right
on
now.
his bad side.
No.
That's it. He'll hurt somebody for real. All right, let's get to that. We were talking Kings, 10 seed, 9 seed. It doesn't necessarily have to be make the play in or keep the pick.
No.
The draft pick that they owe the Hawks.
Mhm.
So the Kings could make the play in and also keep their pick in this year's draft. Kind of best of both worlds, but they're going to need some help to do that. And we'll walk you through that scenario next. That's James Ham. I'm Kyle Madsen. Joe Brazil's with us. We're the Insiders, sponsored by Jiffy Lube. This is ESPN 1320, and that is Sacramento Sports Center. Be right back.
Oh. Probably should stand up or something, but started my off-season training program early this year, which is good. Oh boy. Yeah, like I've always thought I would take Isaiah Stewart on the Kings too, but not the way things are going right now. Kind of out of control. Steven Castaneda, I will not be buff, but I do need to get in better shape, especially for my back. And I start at the end of the season. I started about 6 weeks ago, which is different. Which is why I look skinnier. I don't do low sodium. I don't like to diet a ton. I do like to I walk a lot. So, which is a good thing. Oh. Recommending gummies to me?
Oh yeah.
Jeez.
Shout out, Chris.
There we go.
Did I tell you guys about? Never mind. I don't think I literally legally don't think I'm allowed to talk about the thing I was going to talk about.
Oh, yeah.
There's a store I used to go to that is far from my house.
Uh-huh.
And on my way there the other day, my GPS took me a different way, and I found one much closer to my house.
What?
This particular store.
Okay. Wow.
Which I'd seen advertisements before, but I didn't realize that it was so close to the crib.
Yep.
So I've been driving like 20 plus minutes when I needed to be driving like 8 plus minutes.
Now, back to the Insiders with James Ham and Kyle Madsen, brought to you by Jiffy Lube on ESPN 1320.
Shout out to stores, man. We love stores.
Stores.
And not Stores, Connecticut.
That's right.
Salute to UConn. All right. Kings Pistons tonight. We've had this kind of, I say we, you and I, but then the larger kind of Kings commentariat has been having this discussion about tearing it down, rebuilding. Do you want to keep the pick this year that you owe to the Hawks, or do you want it to convey so you're clear moving forward with your own picks? Because if it doesn't convey this year, top 10 protected next year, and then after that it dissolves into 2 second-round picks in 2027 and 28. Correct?
Yes.
I have the years right? 25, 26, 27.
No,
Yeah.
26 and 27. It becomes a 26 and 27 second-round pick if it doesn't convey by next year.
Oh, got it. Okay, so got it. Okay.
Okay, so top 12 this year,
27.
top 10 protected next year.
And if the Kings have the 6th pick next year, their second-round pick next year,
And their
the
second-round pick
27
in 27
go
go
to the
away.
Hawks. Got
Now,
it.
and again, if they give it away this year, if the 2025 goes away, all of a sudden they have their 26 through 32 plus 2 additional first-round picks, 1 extra in 27 and 1 in 31. So they have 9 first-round picks, and they get their 26 and 27 second-round picks back the second that pick conveys. So those picks are hiding in limbo right now. They cannot trade their 26 or 27 second-round picks.
Right.
As soon as the 2025 pick is conveyed, if that's what happens,
Those unlock.
So now they can access those as well.
It kind of seems to me like the pick conveying this year would be better.
Well, the pick conveying this year or the pick not conveying at all and you getting your 26 and giving up your 26 and 27 pick, I mean, that might be like better world. But again, that would mean that you're bad 2 years in a row.
Right.
Yeah.
So take me through this because I don't understand it.
Okay.
So the Kings could make the play and not the playoffs.
No.
If they make the playoffs, they're keeping their pick.
Yeah. So if you're in the play,
I'm sorry. If they make the playoffs, they're losing their pick.
Yes.
Okay. Go on.
Okay. So the way the play-in works is those games don't count for anything except for play-in, right? Except for play-in standings. So if someone scores 125 points in a play-in game, he is not the all-time leader in points scored in a game.
Doesn't count.
It does not count.
Those games don't exist like on Basketball Reference.
Yeah, they don't exist, right? So what that means is that if you're let's say you're in the play-in, so you're either 7, 8, 9, or 10, your standings are locked the day the play-in happens, the day the season ends. So if the Kings at that point, let's say they have 38 wins, let's say they don't win another game and they're 38 and 44, right? That's their standing when it comes to the lottery. Now, if they win 2 play-in games and go to the 8th seed, they now become the 15th pick in the draft, right? And they would lose their pick. Right. They're not, or the 16, whatever, 15, 16th pick.
Out of the lottery.
And they're out of the lottery, right? But The reason why we never talked about this before was the Kings were so far ahead of all these Eastern Conference teams.
Mm-hmm.
Like all of these teams, like whether it's Atlanta, Miami,
Yep.
Chicago, like there's a whole stack, Orlando, and of course the Hawks, right? There's all these teams that were way behind the Kings in the standings. Well, the Kings started losing a bunch of games.
Mm-hmm.
So as you keep losing, you keep dropping down in the overall standings. If the season were to end today, the Kings would be the 14th pick in the draft before the lottery. Then the lottery happens. If the Kings move up into the top 4, which is like such a small, it's like
1 point something,
2.4% or something.
Uh-huh.
Like there's a possibility they would move up into the top 4. If you move up into the top 4, you get to keep your pick.
Right.
If you don't, then the pick is going to Atlanta.
Right.
Well, the problem is if the Kings drop below Dallas, they're now the 13th pick, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then you start looking at the Eastern Conference teams, and almost all of them have caught the Kings. So when it comes to
so crazy,
yeah. So right now the Heat are 35 and 43. But again, let's say the Heat are the 8th seed. I mean the 10th seed, right? But let's say they figure out a way to make the playoffs,
which you can't put past the Miami Heat.
No, you can't. So that would mean that one of the other teams gets pushed down. So the way to play it again, if you make the playoffs, you jump up into the playoff bracket, and then the other teams are then relegated to the lottery, and they figure that out.
Right.
But all of a sudden, okay, so the Mavs we've got at 30 and 41. They're a half game behind the Kings.
Mm-hmm.
The Orlando Magic 38 and 40. They have the Hawks, the Celtics, the Pacers, the Hawks as their final 4 games. The Hawks are 37 and 41. They're a game behind the Kings. They have the Magic, the Nets, the Sixers, and the Magic. So they have 2 easily winnable games and could move ahead of the Kings. The Bulls have the Cavs, the Heat, the Wizard, and the Sixers. Their schedule, sure, the Cavs are tough, but now we're looking at the Heat, the Wizard, the Sixers to finish the season.
Well, the Cavs are tough for some teams, not for all of them.
Not all of them. And then, of course, the Heat have the Sixers, the Bulls, the Pelicans, and the Wizards. So the Heat right now, again, Sixers, Bulls, Pelicans, Wizards. They've got 4 winnable games on their schedule. They could easily get to 39 wins. And it's possible that the Kings don't win another game. So if the Kings keep winning games, then this becomes like a moot point. Like, we're not going to worry about it.
Right.
But if they keep losing games and then they make the play-in, but they don't make the playoffs, there is potential for them to be the 12th seed in the lottery or the 11th seed in the lottery and keep their pick while making the play-in as long as they don't make the playoffs. Got me? So they can make the play-in, win a game, lose a game, it doesn't matter. Get to the second game. As long as they don't win the second game and go to the playoffs, they could still retain their pick. Because again, the play-in games don't count towards your standings.
Retain their pick without moving up or down.
Yes.
Because in this scenario, if they finish at the 12 and the 13 seed moves up into the top 4,
then they would lose
get
their
pushed
pick
down to 13 and they lose their pick.
Exactly. But there's like this little tiny window where you're like, hey, look at that. They could actually make the play-in, not make the playoffs, and still keep their pick. And the best part about this, for me, it would just be so amazing if it was the Atlanta Hawks that won too many games and knocked you down you down in the standings by climbing above you in the standings.
The Hawks are the reason they don't have a first-round pick.
And the Hawks could lose the Kings' first-round pick by winning, which would be spectacular. And again,
that'd be so good.
Look at they play the Magic, the Nets, the Sixers, and the Magic.
So Sixers Heat tonight. Then it's the Kings Pistons, Sixers Heat are the only 2 NBA games going on tonight.
Oh wow!
So the Kings for this scenario would be rooting hard for the Heat to beat the Sixers. Correct?
Yes.
Because you want the Heat to win.
Yep, you want the Heat to win. Yeah, you want the Heat to win. You want the Bulls to win as many games as possible. The one thing, you've got the Hawks and the Magic both play each other. And again, the Magic schedule is very difficult, but they're tied right now with the Kings, but they're the 7th seed as of right now.
Can I tell you what I'm not going to do?
Worry about this? It's okay.
No. It wasn't that. What I refuse to do is, let's say the Kings beat Dallas in the play-in and jump up into the 7-8 play-in game, or the 8 seed playing game. I will not go into that game, whether it's against Golden State or Memphis or Minnesota or Denver or the Clippers, and be rooting for the Kings to lose so they can keep their damn pick.
Yep. No, I'm with you.
That is not a thing I will be doing. Like, you can go to the playoffs, get a couple of playoff games here, get some valuable playoff experience, or you can pick 12th in the draft. I won't. I can't. Those two things don't light up for me.
No, but the scenario I'm pointing out is
Yeah.
for some people, it is the best of all possible.
I totally. Because there's people who have been like, do you want to make the play-in or keep your pick? And it's like, you can actually do both.
Yeah, there's an angry mob over here that says, I want to rebuild. And then there's an angry mob over here that says, I want at least one play-in game and I want to try to make the playoffs. There is a way that everybody can actually be happy in this scenario.
Great.
I love it.
I guess. I don't know, man. Do you know Quentin? I'm sorry. I had the Sixers Heat game up right here. Do you know Quentin Grimes is averaging 22 points a night right now?
Oh, he's been so incredible since he joined them. Yeah.
Why did nobody want this guy? Is he just available for second round picks? Because the Kings got him.
Yeah.
Good defender.
I don't
Scores
understand.
the heck out of the ball, apparently.
I don't understand at all. Why this is exact player that the Dallas Mavericks needed.
And they traded him for Cody Martin.
Yeah,
Caleb Martin? One of the Martins.
Yeah.
I don't understand it.
Bizarre. Like
super weird.
I really like Quentin Grimes. He's good.
I'm guessing the Sixers probably really like Quentin Grimes now too.
Well, because he has to play every minute of every game.
I'm sorry. I lied to you guys. I'm sorry. He's averaging 22 points with the Sixers this year. He's averaging 14 points for the season. He's averaging 22 points a night for the Sixers right now.
Yeah, but he's shooting 49% from the field, and he's shooting 39.5% from three on 7.6 attempts per game.
He's been sick.
Yeah. 4.4 assists, 4.8 rebounds, 1.6 steals.
Hey, would you rather be in a spot the Kings are in, where there's a lot of uncertainty going into this summer, and you're stuck a little bit between competing and then full teardown? Or would you rather be the Sixers, where you have Joel Embiid on your roster and you owe him $190 million or whatever it is over the next 3 years?
Man, just every time he plays, he's so good. Like, I'm with you. I understand. I think you would rather probably be the Kings just because you've got a way out of this. Because I'd also, the Paul George situation is in there
Paul
too.
George a lot of money too.
Yeah, you owe Paul George like a ton of cash. And so, that the Sixers are just in a really, really bad spot.
The Sixers are weird because the Sixers are closer to competing than the Kings are, I think. They just have the requisite talent when they're healthy to be in that mix. And that includes depth. That's Joel Embiid. That's Paul George. That's Tyrese Maxey.
Yeah.
That's Quentin Grimes, apparently. Jared McCain, who got hurt earlier this year, and we've not even talked about him. Like, they have the requisite talent to be really good. But at the same time, I don't know that I want to go into every season relying on Joel Embiid and Paul George being healthy.
Yeah.
Like, they're closer to being good, but also closer to being really bad.
So Embiid next season makes 55. The next season, 58. The season after that, 62.6. The year after that, the 28-29 season, $67 million player option. Now, Paul George, 51.7, 54, and 56.6 over the next 3 years.
Good God.
You're paying Paul George that much money that he's almost 35. And you owe him 3 more years at 50 plus every year.
He played 41 games this year.
Yeah. That's wild.
Is done for the season. And didn't play particularly well in those 41 games.
Yep.
Averaged 16, 5, and 4, and shot 35.8% from 3.
Yeah, those 3 guys, this is wild. Kelly Oubre has a player option next year at $8.3 million, and Andre Drummond has a player option at $5 million. Then they have McCain on a rookie deal, and they have Eric Gordon on a player option at 3.4, and then some guys that you've kind of never heard of at the bottom, right?
Okay.
So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 real players under contract for next year. They're at $174 million in dedicated salary. They're over they're over this year's luxury tax, but they're over the salary cap for next season.
Brutal.
Yeah. And they still have to sign 7 players.
That's such a tough spot to be in.
Yeah, it's just bad.
But if shutting Joel Embiid down was the right thing and they can get 70 games from him next year.
Yeah.
Like they're probably going to be really good again.
Yep. Well, especially, I mean, Maxi's like spectacular. I would bank on
He's
Maxi.
a really, really good player.
Yeah. If they want to bail on Maxi, like just raise your hand. Like if you're the Kings, like, yeah, we'll take him. Like, what's it going to cost?
I don't
We're
think
in.
they're going to, though.
Nope.
But they're stuck with Joel Embiid and Paul George now. Fingers crossed for them. Fingers crossed for the Sixers.
Or maybe not.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't give a rip. We're the craziest thing, we're talking about the East and all the bad teams in the East that have started winning, but like if the East goes chalk, it's Cavs Hawks in round 1, Celtics Magic in round 1, then Knicks Pistons, which would be fun, and I think Pacers Bucks would be fun. But in the West, if things go chalk, again, this is just if everything lines up 1 through 8, you get OKC Memphis.
Oh,
I think that's fun.
okay.
I think there's potential for that to be fun. Minnesota Houston.
Oh yeah.
That's fun. Golden State and the Lakers, if their game was that Friday, is any indication, that's a good series. And then Clippers Nuggets is your 4-5 right now. Or Nuggets Clippers is the 4-5 right now.
I'm here for all of those.
All of those would sound like really good series.
Yeah, every single one. I mean, at like the variable of number 8, I don't think anybody who's at number 8 has any shot. And I don't care who that is.
Okay. So here are the rank these teams in order of potential to beat Oklahoma City in a 7-game series. Denver, Clippers,
yep,
Golden State,
okay,
Minnesota, Memphis.
Okay, Memphis is at the bottom. Minnesota's probably second from the bottom. I'd put probably Denver, followed by the Warriors, followed by the Clippers.
So Clippers 1.
Yep. No. Denver
1.
Golden State
2.
Clippers
3.
Yep.
Then Minnesota, Memphis.
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe I'm wrong.
No, I think that's probably about right.
I just think
at least for me,
like they are going to have, like every team has a small flaw. I mean, we see what the Cavs' flaw is, and I don't think a lot of other teams do. The Cavs can't handle like power in the post. I mean, that's what we've seen twice. Like,
yeah, and the reason they're 62-16 is because there's not that many players like Domas.
Nope.
There's not that many players that are just going to be just bull in a china shop down in the low block.
Yeah,
and they don't.
And a lot of them are hiding in the West.
Yeah. It's Ivica Zubats and Jokic.
Yeah. Tough look. Even Zach Edey could be a problem for a team like that.
Well, Cleveland's not seeing no Memphis in the
playoffs. Never.
I don't even think Cleveland's beating Boston. I still just like I wouldn't. I think this season's going to end with Boston hoisting a trophy again, and we're going to be like, oh yeah, hey, by the way, Boston still won 60 games.
At least an Eastern Conference trophy, and then we'll have to see.
They have hosted to 58-20. What a ridiculous team. All right, we've got the handoff. Jesse Tapia. Speaking of Boston, Jesse Tapia is going to be in here for the handoff. We are the Insiders, sponsored by Jiffy Lube. This is ESPN 1320, Sacramento Sports Center.
Oh, we got Jesse? Sweet. I've got to pick my son up at the airport, and my day just got way more complicated because his flight got delayed. So I'm hoping I can figure this out with Damian and Kenny. Damn it.
Joe, that's a great episode title for the pod. A great first hour title.
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Oh, we have another thing to give away. Oh, another word.
Yes, Frank Anwar. Yeah. The two play-in winners are 15 and 16. Then everybody else goes back to their record. So again, if the Heat somehow win 2 play-in games, including one against, Orlando, or I would like against the Hawks. Number one, those wins don't count towards the standings, but number two, they would jump up and those teams would fall down.
Did you see?
What's up, Chatty House?
Jesse Tapia in the building. Did you see that potential U.S. women's national team jerseys leaked?
Mm-mm. Rust Dog, we just talked about the wedding.
These are kind of fire.
Those aren't bad. Those aren't bad.
But wait, that's
Of-
a women's?
Yeah. At least that's what it said. I don't hate them. Which is new for
We really messed up the art of the jersey the last decade or so. As
yeah.
far as just coming up with stuff that's cool.
Yeah. I like this though because it's like a little bit retro
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
with the stars on it. When in doubt, dude, teams need to just revert backwards. Like when in doubt, do a throwback.
Yeah, that's what the Miami Dolphins need to. That's what the Chargers always need to. Like, the
1000%.
Chargers kind of did. Like they went to the
Yep.
kind of powder blue and yellow or
Yep.
whatever.
It works. Every time a team rolls out a throwback, everyone's like, this is clearly better.
If you guys don't mind, hit the thumbs up for us. That would be greatly appreciated.
I think I would too.
We got a lot of people up in here.
You still have Tyrese Maxey.
Yeah, I'd rather have the talent than need to find it. I think.
Yeah, but I mean, it just depends. For me, it would depend on what you think of Maxey and like in the hierarchy of best players between the two teams. Like, where does he rank?
Yeah.
I don't think I put him above Domas, but he is younger.
I'm building my team. I think I'd take Maxey first, though.
Well, because he's younger.
Yeah.
Actually, Maxey develops into an equal to or better than version of Fox. I agree with this comment. And I actually think it's possible that he's a better player than Fox. On the season, 26.3 points, 6.1 assists, although he's only shooting 43.7 from the field and 33.7 from three. It's a down year shooting wise.
Let's keep it real, Brian. I haven't really found one out here. Like that's something I'll get, but that's not out here really.
What happened?
Brian's talking about tortas and stuff like that.
That's Tortas. There's Adalberto's.
I haven't been there. I've heard about that spot. I haven't
Hey,
been there yet.
we got breakfast burritos from Adalberto's the other day. It was crazy. It's delicious. Steak and potatoes, bro.
Now, back to the Insiders with James Ham and Kyle Madsen, brought to you by Jiffy Lube on ESPN 1320.
Well, James Ham, Kyle Madsen, Joe Brazil, and Jesse Tapia in here for the handoff. Jesse Tapia of D-Lo and KC. D-Lo and KC coming up at noon. And let's take you up to 4 o'clock. That's when coverage of the men's basketball championship between Florida and Houston begins. You said you're not a breakfast burrito guy?
Yeah. Like,
Please explain.
well, it's just like that's not like my preferred thing. Like I love.
I just don't like it.
Well, yeah, it's like I love chorizo and egg burritos and stuff like that. Like that
Sure.
would kind of be like the go-to for breakfast. I'm not making like pancakes or anything like that, but like, I'm cool. It's fine, but it's not high on my list.
All right.
I love a good breakfast burrito.
I'm all in on it.
I love a good a regular burrito for lunch or dinner or something like that. Like that's great. It's not.
We want like eggs
I'm
and
not,
salsa.
I'm not a
and-
breakfast burrito type guy.
I
we
agree.
went to Adalberto's this week.
That was
and-
so good.
Or last week, I guess. We got steak and
Yeah.
potato burritos. It was delightful. It was really good.
I love it that
Should
anytime.
get that in your life.
Real quick, anytime I ever talk breakfast for life, probably now, it's just always gonna be Jesse doesn't salt his eggs. And you know what? I don't. Whatever.
That's facts.
Yeah, whatever.
I'm going to say this again. I've said it 10 times, but I'm going to say it again. I don't hate that you don't salt your eggs.
Yeah.
That's not the problem to me.
No, I get it. I get
The
it.
problem for me was that you acted like people were insane for salting.
It was a culture shock for me. I was like, wait, I'm the crazy one? And I'll admit
Yeah.
it, fine. I'm the crazy one, whatever. But
Where are you? Where the Kings win last night didn't move me.
yeah, no, you said exactly how I felt to start the show.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was wondering
I'm
where you
just
were at with it.
focused on the play-in. Like, get to the plan, and we'll go from there. I think
Yeah,
the Suns
that's
are
it.
done. Like, they're 3 games
They're
back to the Kings
cooked,
right now, right?
Yeah, they're done.
Yeah, at this point, it's
Yeah.
kind of you're playing for home court in the last play,
Yeah,
first playing
which
game
is
or
a big
whatever.
deal.
Yeah. So at that point, like, that's kind of what I'm focused on. I don't care that you beat the Cavs. Like,
Yeah.
we've seen it already.
Yeah.
It's like the Atlanta Hawks have beat the Cavs twice, whatever. Like, teams,
Mm.
it happens in the league.
Didn't the Hawks beat Boston twice too?
It might have.
Oof. Weird.
Yeah,
Weird
Things
team.
always happen. Yeah.
it's basketball.
Yeah.
But yeah, like once they get to the plan, it's like, all right, now you can probably cook with something or whatever. If you get Dallas, well, maybe you get this other game.
Yeah.
'Cause
Well,
like you guys are talking about too. I'd rather them get to the playoffs than anything.
Yeah, that's
I think we can all agree that the Kings were a better team last season than they are this year.
Yeah. Even last year was kind of weird, but it's like,
Are
they
we-
still won 46 games.
Yeah, but here's a
if
crazy
last
point.
year's Kings played this year's Kings in a 7-game series.
Oh, I'm taking last year's Kings.
Yeah, let me get last year's Kings in 4, maybe 5.
4 or 5?
Yeah, that team last year at least, like they somewhat, I think, like playing. They like playing together and stuff like that. That was at least a team. These guys are just a kind of jumbled up mess.
Here's a crazy stat though. Last season's Kings team went a combined, I think it's either 0-9 or 0-10 against the Rockets and Pelicans. This year's Kings team went 6-1 against those same exact teams.
Pelicans are much worse this year. Though, than
Pelicans
they
are
were
way
last
worse.
year.
But still,
Yeah.
the Kings lost. It's either 3 or 4 against the Rockets last
Well,
year.
2 of them were like early in the season with no Fox, right? And they just got walloped in both of those games.
Yeah. Well, the Kings have swept the Rockets this year.
Huh. And the Rockets are definitely better this year, which is weird.
Yeah. It
This
just
is the most confusing team, dude.
it makes no rhyme or reason.
They're an average team.
Yeah, they're just
that's
mid.
just what it is.
That's
Yeah,
it.
It's
They're
not
middle of the
confusing. They're
road.
just average.
What did you say? They're 3-1 against the Celtics and Cavs,
Yes.
and 1-1 against the Wizards. They have the same amount of losses against the Wizards as they do against.
They have more losses to the Wizards and Bulls than they do the Cavs and the Celtics.
Oh,
They're going to beat some good teams. They're going to lose to some good teams. They're going to beat some bad teams. They're going to lose to some bad teams. It's literally what it is.
It's just frustrating because it's so clear what the best version of the team is, like how they function, especially offensively. Like, man, when you get the ball to Domantas Sabonis and you're moving around, and DeMar DeRozan is working within the flow of an offense instead of just trying to work for his shot, like, man, they're really, really hard to stop.
mhm.
Yeah.
And then they just don't do it.
Yeah, that's the thing. When you do that like once every 2 weeks, like, okay, you just can't sustain it.
Yeah.
So I can't like really say that's who you are.
Yeah. Brutal.
Yeah, I think we're getting to a point where we know exactly who they are. We just don't know what the exact end is for this team.
Mhm.
As
Like-
bad as it's gone, they could still be in the first round of the playoffs.
We've been in the same holding pattern for what, 3 weeks now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like we just kind of
We'd love to
known.
take a direction at some point.
Yeah. Like, okay, we've reached a point now where it's like, okay, they won't fall out of the play-in.
Mhm.
Great. Love to see that. But
But they've continuously gotten worse.
That's the thing,
just
yeah.
not bad enough,
And the shocking thing is the Suns have got even worse than that.
which is
Sounds
I
like just
mean,
basically
insane.
hold my beer. That's all it is.
Yeah.
You do that, not watch.
You want to
it.
talk about a team I don't want to be? It's the Suns.
I don't know. You're probably right, but then again, I think you can still get 3 first-round picks out of Kevin Durant. I think you can still get 2 or 3 first-round picks out of Devin Booker. So if you did need to reboot and restart, I think you could actually. You can't trade Bradley Beal, but you can afford to have one $50 million player for 2 or 3 years.
Would you get more for Kevin Durant or Devin Booker on the trade market? 1 year left to Kevin Durant?
Oh, 1
many
year
years
left?
How many years
No.
left, Devin Booker?
A couple.
Yeah. Let me pull
More
up
than
their,
one?
Boy,
I know he's not a free agent after next year.
this is a dark discussion.
Well, what do you consider more? 3 first-round picks or maybe a high-level player for Kevin Durant, I guess? Like, say you can get picks for Booker or maybe like a high-level player for Durant that kind of matches his salary.
You owe Booker 3 years after this year. 53, 57, and 61. You've got 1 year of Kevin Durant at 54.7 left. And then
he's
Bradley
38 years old.
Yeah, and Bradley Beal, I think he's 37 right now. But it'll be his 38th season.
Mhm.
And then Bradley Beal, you owe 53.7 next year, and he has a player option for 57 in the 2026-27, which he's not going to opt out of.
As I say, breaking news.
I strive
Bradley
to
Beal's
be-
taking that 57 milli.
I strive to be Bradley Beal in my career. Not even have to make an All-Star game. Just pay me. That's it.
Just get mad if you send me to the bench.
I have a no trade clause as well.
Insane.
Here's to
What a
your point.
ridiculous contract.
To your point, Kyle.
Sam Bradford of the NBA.
The Suns are at 218.7
far as bag
million
getters.
next year. 1, 2, 3, 4,
I'm
5,
sorry, who's
6,
this?
7, 8, 9.
Jesse just said one of the most profound things I've ever heard in my
Oh.
life. Go ahead.
The Suns are at 218.7 million in dedicated salary for next year. They're so far in the second apron that they will start losing their picks, like astronomically far into the second apron for a team that's the 11th seed in the West. Sorry, what was your profound statement?
Oh no, I said
It wasn't.
that.
It wasn't. Go
I
ahead.
just said that Bradley Beal was the Sam Bradford of the NBA.
I was trying to figure out who that's disrespectful to.
It's not.
I
They're
think that's
both-
disrespectful to Brad
They,
Beal.
they both had.
Brad Beal's been better in
They
the
both
NBA
had
than
very
Sam
good
Bradford was in the
careers.
NFL.
Sam Bradford led the league in passing completion percentage 1 year. They both made money. Neither was like a Pro Bowl or All-Star type guy or whatever.
Huh.
They just got their bag.
I feel like that's disrespectful to Bradley Beal.
It feels disrespectful, but I mean, poke a hole in that argument.
It's possible he's the
Like Bradley Beal was never the guy.
There's a
the
prominent.
Derek Carr who just
Hmm,
never wins but puts up a bunch of numbers. I don't
I
know.
don't hate it. There's a prominent Bay Area sports media personality who will contend. The quote is, "As a thrower of the football, that Sam Bradford is one of the best quarterbacks in NFL history."
I don't even know what that means. Like,
Bro,
going off that
it's an
guy's
insane
criteria,
thing to
maybe,
say.
yeah, like,
It's an insane thing to say.
He's wrong.
As a thrower of the football.
Dan
I'm
Marino,
sorry, what?
Peyton Manning, Tom
What?
Brady, Sam Bradford.
Dude, the Mount Rushmore.
I don't even know how you're making that argument. I mean, because even guys like Jeff George as a thrower of the football
Yeah.
was unbelievable.
Yeah, look at right here. Fode Kumar in the chat. Like Beal led the league in points per game. Sam Bradford led the league in completion percentage once.
Not the same thing.
Whatever.
1000% not the same thing.
Whatever. Hey.
What are you
Whatever.
talking about?
Whatever. Cool. Bro
Uh,
averaged what? 30 on the Wizards. Great.
Yeah.
Sam Bradford led the league in completion percentage because he checked down all the time. Lost him.
That's not. I feel like you're underselling Brad.
I feel like I'm more right than I am wrong with this take.
I don't know. I think the Bradley Beal was an all-star 3 times. He was all-NBA in 2020, 2021. He's been to the playoffs 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times as a player. Yeah, this is crazy disrespectful to Brad Beal. I will not stand for this anymore.
That's fine. I threw it out there.
I thought you really said something. You didn't.
Hey, it was enough to kill 5 minutes.
Yeah, Brad Beal's a good player, man.
every day we should compare
Was a good
two
player.
ridiculously strange players in both the NFL and
Hey, sometimes it hits, sometimes it's a miss.
Bradley Beal across 3 seasons from 2018 to 2021 averaged 28.7 points, 4.7 boards, and 5.3 assists. He shot 47.2% from the field and 35.1 from 3. Sam Bradford never had a stretch that dominant.
That's
in
fair.
the
That's
NFL.
fair. It was more about you made all kinds of money, but like you never really won anything or did anything.
yeah, did
I guess
he,
Beal has more, but
did they make the playoffs? I'm gonna look up career playoffs.
Yeah, he made the playoffs twice in that stretch.
Okay,
Excuse me, once.
okay,
What
he's
did I say,
played
18, 19 through 2021.
actually
yeah.
made the second round a couple of times.
Yeah. Yeah,
Huh.
not a bad player.
Hall
Had
of
a nice
very
little
good.
career.
Yeah, Hall of very good.
Definitely not a Hall of Famer for
Yeah.
sure. He's had a nice career though. I think you'll get more for Devin Booker on the trade market at this point than you will for Kevin Durant.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
You're looking to rebuild your team, yeah.
But I don't think they want to get rid of Beal. Or
Do you
excuse me,
even-
Booker.
Yeah, do you even need to trade Booker?
I don't think so.
I think you
Not if you're getting a few picks back for Kevin Durant.
got a couple of firsts and match the
Yeah.
salaries, yeah.
Yeah. But they're gonna have to start dumping some salary at some point.
Yeah.
Because like James said, that's just not tenable. I don't care what Matt Ishbia says and how much money he wants to spend. Like
Project get Bradley Beal to break up with you next season.
I don't think he's going to.
You got 2 more years of Brad Bill.
Figure out a way to
I
get
feel
him
like
to
Brad
W.
Beal's the real petty type that's gonna be like, nope, I'm here.
We're gonna
Well,
work this out
I'm
together.
opting in, by the way.
Yeah.
He's got the no trade clause as
Oh,
well.
yeah.
There's nothing you can do about
And
it.
he will wield it.
Yeah.
Shout out to Brad Beal, man. What a
Sorry
player.
for disrespecting you, I guess.
What a play. No, you don't owe him anything. You don't owe him an apology. That's James Ham. That's Joe Brazil. I'm Kyle Madsen. Jesse Tapia, producer for D-Lo and KC. That show is coming up next. We got Kings Pistons tonight. Can't wait. Right here on ESPN 1320 at 4 o'clock. Coverage begins. The men's basketball final between the college men's basketball final between the Houston Cougars and the Florida Gators. Right here on ESPN 1320. Tap in tomorrow at 10 a.m. For James Ham and Joe Brazil, I'm Kyle Madsen. We're the Insider, sponsored by Jiffy Lube. This is ESPN 1320, Sacramento Sports Leader. Until tomorrow at 10, drink water, be nice to people.